In a distant land, far beyond the mountains and across the whispering woods, lived a lonely dragon named Drago. He was not like other dragons. His fiery breath had vanished one starry night, leaving him sad and without his mighty roar. Drago spent his days alone until one bright afternoon, a tiny butterfly named Bella fluttered by. Bella was a kaleidoscope of colors and full of curiosity. Despite her tiny size, she had a big heart. Seeing Drago's downcast eyes, she decided to befriend him. "Hello there," Bella greeted cheerfully, her delicate wings shimmering in the sunlight. Drago looked up curiously. "Hello," he replied softly, his voice a low rumble. "Why are you so sad?" Bella asked, landing gently on his nose. Drago sighed, his breath barely a whisper. "I lost my fiery breath, and without it, I'm just not the same." Bella thought for a moment and then spoke with determination. "Then let's go find it. I've heard that the Flame Mountain can restore lost dragon fire." Drago's eyes widened with a glimmer of hope. "Will you come with me?" he asked. "Of course," Bella chirped. Friends help each other. And so, the unlikely duo set off on an adventurous journey. They flew over emerald green valleys, crossed crystal clear rivers, and ventured through dense forests where the trees whispered secrets. As days turned into weeks, they faced various challenges: fierce windstorms, treacherous cliffs, and a confusing labyrinth. Through it all, Bella's positive attitude and Drago's newfound courage kept them moving forward. They discovered that by working together, they could overcome anything. They finally reached the Flame Mountain. The air sizzled with heat, and the ground shimmered with fiery veins. Bella encouraged Drago, "Go on, try to breathe fire again." Nervously, Drago took a deep breath. At first, nothing happened. He tried again, focusing on the warmth in his heart that Bella's friendship had kindled. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs named Percy, Penny, and Pete. They lived with their mother in a cozy little house. One day, their mother said, "It's time for you to go out into the world and build your own houses." So, the 3 little pigs set off on their adventure. Percy decided to build his house out of straw. It was quick and easy, and soon he was done. "Look at my house," Percy exclaimed. "It's perfect." Penny, on the other hand, chose to build her house out of sticks. It took a bit longer, but she felt proud of her work. "My house is sturdy and strong," she said. Pete, the youngest and wisest pig, decided to build his house out of bricks. It was hard work and took the longest time, but Pete knew it would be strong and safe. One day, the big bad wolf came along. He saw Percy's straw house and licked his lips. Little pig, let me in," he growled. Percy squealed, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," roared the wolf. And that's exactly what he did. Percy ran to Penny's stick house. The wolf followed and threatened to blow down the stick house too. Penny shouted, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." But the wolf huffed and puffed and blew her house in two. Percy and Penny ran as fast as their little legs could carry them to Pete's brick house. The wolf chased after them and demanded to be let in. "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin," Pete said firmly. The wolf huffed and puffed, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not blow down the brick house. Exhausted, the wolf gave up and slunk away. Percy and Penny thanked Pete for his wisdom. "Now we know the value of hard work and strong materials," they said. Pete smiled, welcoming his siblings into the strong, safe house made of bricks. And from that day on, the 3 little pigs lived happily ever after, safe from the big bad wolf.
Once upon a time in a land not so far away, there lived a little train named Toodles. Toodles was bright blue with a shiny silver bell and had big, hopeful eyes. Every day he watched the bigger trains chugging by, pulling long lines of carriages filled with happy passengers. Toodles' greatest dream was to travel to faraway places and see the world. But the bigger trains would laugh, saying, "You're too small, Toodles. You'll never make it over the hills and through the valleys. You're just not strong enough." Toodles would lower his head and feel a bit sad, but deep inside he held onto a glimmer of hope. Maybe one day, he thought. One sunny morning, the station master ran up to Toodles in a flurry. "Toddlers, Toddlers, we need a train to take a special group of children to the butterfly meadow for their annual picnic. The bigger trains are all busy. Can you do it?" Toodles' heart skipped a beat. This was his chance. "I'll do my best," he said with all the courage he could muster. The children boarded Toodles, giggling and singing. They believed in him right from the start. As they traveled through the countryside, they came to a steep hill. Toodles hesitated, remembering the words of the bigger trains. But then he heard the children's cheerful voices. "You can do it, Toodles. We believe in you," they chorused. With each chug and puff, Toodles repeated to himself, "I think I can. I think I can." The climb was tough, but step by step, will by will, Toodles made it to the top of the hill. The children cheered, and Toodles felt a surge of pride and joy. Further down the track, a rickety bridge loomed ahead. It looked shaky, and Toodles felt a pang of fear. "What if the bridge can't hold me?" he thought. Again, the children's voices filled the air. "You can do it, Toodles. We believe in you." Taking a deep breath, Toodles ventured onto the bridge. It creaked and swayed, but Toodles moved slowly and carefully. Soon they were safely across. Finally, they reached the beautiful butterfly meadow, filled with colorful flowers and fluttering butterflies. The children laughed and played, their faces glowing with happiness. Toodles had done it. When they returned to the station, the bigger trains were there, wide-eyed with surprise. "You did it, Toodles. We never thought you could." Toodles smiled, his heart full. "I did it because I believed in myself and because my passengers believed in me too." From that day on, Toodles became the little train that could. He traveled far and wide, knowing that no dream was too big if you believed in yourself. And every time he faced a new challenge, he heard the echoes of the children's voices. "You can do it, Toodles. We believe in you." Once upon a time, in a land where magical creatures roamed freely, there lived two very different beings. One was an angel named Lumina, whose heart was as bright as the morning sun. She had golden wings and a smile that could melt even the coldest snow. The other was a demon named Shadow, who was as dark as the midnight sky. He had bat-like wings and eyes that glowed like embers in the dark. Despite their differences, Lumina and Shadow both longed for a sense of belonging. They lived in a land divided by a mystical forest, which was said to be enchanted. The angel community lived on one side, and the demons lived on the other. One day, Lumina decided to explore the forest. Her heart was filled with curiosity and a desire to understand the world beyond her own. As she wandered deeper into the woods, she heard a rustling sound. To her surprise, she found Shadow sitting by a shimmering pond, looking lonely. "Hello," she said softly, not wanting to startle him. Shadow looked up, startled but curious. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm Lumina, an angel." "Who are you?" she replied. "I'm Shadow, a demon," he said, expecting her to flee. But Lumina didn't run. Instead, she sat next to him. "What brings you here?" she asked. "I come here to think," said Shadow. "I feel like I don't belong anywhere." Lumina's eyes softened. "I feel the same way," she confessed. "Maybe we can be friends?" Shadow hesitated, but then he nodded. From that day on, they met by the pond every day. They talked about their dreams, fears, and everything in between. Slowly, they realized that they weren't so different after all. One day, a terrible storm hit the mystical forest, causing chaos and destruction. Lumina and Shadow knew they had to act quickly to save the creatures living there. Together, they combined their powers, Lumina's light and Shadow's darkness, to calm the storm. The mystical forest was saved, and so were its inhabitants. Their brave act didn't go unnoticed. The angels and demons couldn't believe their eyes when they saw Lumina and Shadow working together. "If an angel and a demon can be friends, why can't we?" asked a young angel. "Yes, why can't we?" echoed a demon elder. From that day on, the divide between angels and demons began to fade. They started to learn from each other, share their cultures, and build a world where everyone belonged. And it was all thanks to Lumina and Shadow, who showed that even the most different beings could find common ground and become friends.